Well, remember all-you-can-eat buffets? Well, a lot of them took a big hit during the pandemic, but buffets are once again in high demand. Waits can stretch for more than 2 hours for high-end buffets at Las Vegas hotels.
What if I told you the hungriest people at Buffett's leave with the worst value, while someone who breaks one weird psychological rule walks out having basically robbed the place? There's a reason Buffett's pray you never figure this out. Ever notice how the plate they hand you at a buffet feels off? Like you're eating dinner on a Frisbee? That's not an accident. Buffett's deliberately use plates that are 20 to 30% smaller than what you'd find at a regular restaurant. And here's the genius part. You don't even notice. The plate looks normal. It just quietly holds less food. Now, why would they do this? Simple. Every trip back to the buffet is a mini workout. Well, maybe workout is generous. Let's call it a waddle with purpose. But that walk, it gives your brain time to catch up with your stomach. By the time you've loaded up plate number 2, your body's already starting to whisper, "Hey, maybe we're actually full." If they gave you one massive platter, you'd pile it high like you're preparing for hibernation. Then you'd sit there, eat everything in one go, and your brain would miss the memo entirely. Buffett designers actually borrowed this trick from casinos. Small, frequent wins keep gamblers at tables for hours. Small, frequent plates keep you feeling active but eating way less. Same psychology, different battlefield. And those fancy charger plates underneath? The big decorative ones that make everything look upscale? Pure theater. They exist to make your tiny plate look more generous than it actually is. Your brain sees big plate presentation and feels satisfied even though you're carrying half the food. Here's what really gets me, though. Studies found that people serve themselves 22% less when the plate color contrasts with the food. White rice on a white plate? You'll pile it on. White rice on a dark plate? Suddenly, you're being reasonable. Some chains have even shrunk their plates by another inch over the past decade. Prices went up. Portions went down. But plates aren't the only trick they're playing. The layout of the buffet itself is an entire psychological maze. Ever notice how the crab legs are practically in another zip code? That's not an accident. Buffett's play a sneaky little game with your feet. They put the expensive stuff, the shrimp, the prime rib, the lobster, all the way at the back of the line. But what's right up front? Bread, pasta, rice, the cheapest fillers money can buy. By the time you reach the good stuff, your plate's already half full of carbs that cost them pennies. Buffet designers actually have a name for this. They call it speed bumps. And the whole point is slowing you down before you hit the premium proteins. One buffet consultant admitted that simply moving shrimp from the front to the back saved his client thousands every single month. Thousands, just from rearranging food. But here's what really gets me. The salad bar up front? It seems healthy, right? Like they're doing you a favor. Nope. Lettuce is dirt cheap. And every bite of Caesar salad is stomach space you won't use on that prime rib later. Makes sense, right? Then there's the lighting trick. Walk into any decent buffet and pay attention next time. The bread station? Bright as a summer afternoon. The seafood section? Slightly dimmer. Moodier. Your eyes naturally drift toward the well-lit areas first. It's subtle, but it works. I fell for this for years, loading up on garlic bread and mashed potatoes, feeling like a genius for getting my money's worth. Meanwhile, the actual expensive food sat waiting at the back while I ran out of room. The whole layout is basically a maze designed by accountants. And the positioning tricks? That's just the start. Because what happens to that food sitting in those warming trays for hours is something most people never think about. A few months ago, I had no idea what a health ring even was until my fiancé got me one. And I have to say, I am shocked this isn't a widely known and used product. It tracks my stress levels, and what I found out is that each time I took certain medication, my body's stress levels went up 2 to 3 times my usual levels. So I immediately stopped taking that medication, and I can honestly say this made me feel 10 years younger. My wife mainly uses it to track her menstrual cycles, and she is obsessed with her sleep quality score. I noticed they were running a limited 69% discount, but the offer is expiring soon. It's currently only $60, and it's clear this one is the best bang for your buck with other health rings priced around $350 with less functions. They managed to price it this low because they cut out the middleman like Amazon, Walmart, etc., who drive up the price and take a big margin, ending up with the customer paying 3 to 5 times more. If you are on TV, you can check it out yourself by pausing the video and scanning the QR code with your phone camera or clicking the first link in the description of this video. Let's talk about what's really going on behind those sneeze guards. Now, here's where things get genuinely gross. Those sneeze guards hovering over the buffet? They're basically theater. Sure, they'll stop someone's direct sneeze from landing on the General Tso's chicken. But that's not how most contamination actually happens. It's the hands. Always the hands. Think about it. Hundreds of people grab that serving spoon handle every single day. The guy who just scratched his nose. The kid who definitely didn't wash after the bathroom. Your well-meaning grandmother who licked sauce off her finger before reaching for the tongs. One university study found bacteria counts on buffet serving utensils were 18 times higher than on restaurant table surfaces. 18 times. Your table gets wiped down more often than that spoon handle you just grabbed. And cross-contamination. It's happening constantly. Someone uses the shrimp spoon in the fried rice. Now there's invisible shellfish protein mixed into a dish that looks perfectly safe for someone with allergies. I've seen people use the same tongs across 5 different dishes like they're playing some kind of contamination bingo. But wait, it gets better. Health codes allow buffet food to sit at serving temperature for up to 4 hours before mandatory replacement. Sounds reasonable until you learn the dirty secret. That timer resets when they add fresh food on top of old food. So that fresh batch of mashed potatoes? The bottom layer might have been there since lunch. And it's dinner now. The warming trays maintain temperatures that technically prevent bacterial growth. Technically. In a perfect world where nothing ever dips below safe temps during refills or sits in the danger zone while someone restocks. My aunt refuses to eat at buffets after working at one during college. She won't tell me exactly what she saw, just shakes her head and orders off the menu. Speaking of things designed to trick you, let's talk about drinks. Here's the thing about buffet drinks. That fountain soda they're selling you for $3 or $4 costs them roughly 15 cents to pour. 15 cents. That's a 2,000% markup. You'd need to drink 20 glasses just to break even on value. But they don't leave your thirst to chance. Walk along any buffet line and taste carefully. Everything's salty. The fried rice, the mashed potatoes. Even dishes that don't taste particularly salty are loaded with sodium. This isn't lazy seasoning. It's strategy. All that salt makes you thirsty. Really thirsty. And when you're parched halfway through your meal, that $3 soda suddenly seems reasonable. My uncle calls it the desert mouth effect. He's not wrong. MSG shows up everywhere too. Those savory sauces coating the chicken, the beef, the mystery meat special, packed with flavor enhancers that trigger thirst like nothing else. Your taste buds love it. Your wallet doesn't. Now technically, free water exists, But notice how you usually have to flag down a server to get it. Small barrier, right? Except that tiny inconvenience is enough to push most people toward the soda fountain instead. Psychology in action. And where is that drink station located? Often clear across the room from your table, which means every refill trip walks you straight past the dessert section, past the cookies, past the soft serve machine, past the chocolate fountain calling your name. Coincidence? Please. The sneaky part is that unlimited refills feel like you're winning. You're getting value. Except you're not. The math never works in your favor unless you're literally drinking soda like a camel preparing for a desert crossing. Water's free, fills you up, and doesn't spike your blood sugar before round 2. But soda isn't the only trap designed around human psychology. Wait until you see how the actual pricing model works against your stomach capacity. Here's the thing about unlimited. It's a word that makes your brain go a little crazy. You see all you can eat, and your wallet starts doing math. $25? I'll just eat $30 worth. Easy money. Except your stomach didn't get that memo. The average buffet customer eats only $8 to $12 worth of food at actual cost. That's it. You're paying $25, $30, sometimes $40, while consuming maybe a third of that in real value. Buffets aren't betting against your appetite. They're betting on human biology. And biology wins every single time. Your eyes genuinely are bigger than your stomach. Studies show people overestimate how much they'll eat by roughly 40%. You grab that first plate thinking you're a competitive eater. By plate 2, you're loosening your belt. Plate 3, you're questioning every decision that led you here. And here's what really gets me. The psychological effect of unlimited actually makes people feel satisfied eating less. Wild, right? Just knowing you could eat more creates this weird contentment. The option becomes the value, not the actual consumption. So who does lose money on buffets? About 5% of customers. The strategic ones who skip the bread, ignore the pasta, and park themselves at the crab leg station like it's their job. Everyone else? Pure profit. Those senior early bird specials at 3 p.m. aren't charity, by the way. They're filling dead hours when food would otherwise sit there getting questionable. Grandma thinks she's getting a deal. The buffet's avoiding food waste. Everybody wins, I guess. The unlimited promise is basically a magic trick. You feel like you're beating the system while the system beats you with portion psychology and stomach capacity. But wait, the pricing trap is only half the story. What's actually happening to that food before it reaches the warming trays? That part gets genuinely disturbing. Ever wonder what's actually happening behind those swinging kitchen doors? Well, let me tell you, it's not a team of chefs lovingly preparing each dish from scratch. Most buffet food arrives frozen in giant plastic bags from central commissary kitchens, sometimes hundreds of miles away. The cooking that happens on site? Basically, just reheating. Dump the bag into a warming tray, stir occasionally, and call it fresh. Your grandma would be horrified. Now here's where it gets interesting. That carving station with the guy in the tall white hat slicing prime rib? Looks impressive, very theatrical. But that meat has often been sitting in a holding oven for 3, sometimes 4 hours before it ever reaches his cutting board. The carving is just the final performance. And the kitchen crew? Skeleton staff. We're talking maybe 5 or 6 people doing the work that a regular restaurant would need 15 for. Less hands means less attention to quality. Simple math. But the real eye-opener is what goes into the food. Those crab rangoons? Imitation crab? That cheese sauce? Processed cheese product? The meatballs? Stuffed with extenders and fillers? None of this is labeled, by the way. You just assume you're getting the real thing. Oh, and that fluffy pile of scrambled eggs at Sunday brunch? I hate to break it to you, but there's a solid chance it's powdered egg product mixed with liquid eggs. Cuts costs by about 40%. Tastes close enough that most people never notice. Here's the stat that should make you pause. Independent health inspectors found that buffets receive critical violations at nearly double the rate of traditional restaurants. Double. That's not a small margin. Makes you think twice about that third trip to the steam trays, doesn't it? But food quality is only part of the equation. Because there are rules you're agreeing to the moment you walk in that most people completely miss. Here's the thing nobody tells you before you sit down. That unlimited promise? It comes with asterisks. Lots of them. Buried in tiny print near the entrance, usually where nobody bothers looking, you'll find time limits. 60 minutes. 90 if you're lucky. I once saw a sign so small I needed reading glasses I don't even own. That's not an accident. And wasting food. That's where things get expensive fast. Some Asian buffets and Korean BBQ spots will hit you with penalty charges. $1 to $3 per ounce of uneaten food left on your plate. Your eyes were bigger than your stomach? That'll be $12 extra, thanks. Makes sense from their side, right? But it changes the whole all-you-can-eat vibe pretty quickly. Then there's the senior discount trap. My uncle learned this one the hard way. Drove 30 minutes for that sweet 15% off. Walked in on a Saturday night. Sorry, sir. Weekends excluded. Also holidays. Also dinner hours. Basically, every time anyone actually wants to eat there. Now, here's one that really gets me. Some seafood buffets advertise all-you-can-eat crab legs in massive letters. Beautiful. You get there, grab your plate, head for the lobster tails, and discover those cost extra. Premium items, they call them. I call it bait and switch with melted butter. Want to take leftovers home? Forget it. That's prohibited almost everywhere. Get caught, and some places charge you double the buffet price. Suddenly, your doggy bag costs $40. Oh, and check your receipt before signing. Credit card tips get auto-added at 18% sometimes. For what service exactly? You carried your own plates. You refilled your own drinks. You basically worked there for an hour. But even knowing all these tricks, there are ways to actually win at the buffet game. Smart strategies that flip the script entirely. All right, so you've read all this, and you're still going to hit the buffet this weekend. I respect that. But at least go in with a game plan. Here's the biggest mistake people make. They skip breakfast thinking they'll save room. Terrible idea. Your stomach shows up desperate. You grab the first thing you see, and suddenly half your plate is dinner rolls. You filled up on 20 cents worth of bread. Congratulations. Instead, eat a light meal beforehand. Sounds backwards, right? But it keeps you from panic-grabbing cheap carbs the moment you walk in. Now here's a move that changed everything for me. Do one full lap without a plate. Just walk. Scout the whole spread, like you're casing a jewelry store. Find out where they're hiding the good stuff before you commit to anything. Once you know the layout, load protein and vegetables first. That's where the actual value lives. Starches and bread? Those are traps dressed up as side dishes. And where you sit matters more than you'd think. Face away from the buffet line. Every time you look at all that food, your brain starts whispering about round 2. Out of sight, out of stomach. Timing helps too. Off-peak hours mean fresher food. That shrimp at 2 p.m. has been there since 11. That shrimp at 5:30? Actually worth eating. One last tip that saved me personally. Bring antacid. I'm serious. Buffet food runs heavy on sodium, fat, and regret. Your future self will thank you around 9 p.m. Look, Buffetts aren't evil. They're businesses designed to make money while making you feel like you won. Now you know how the game works. You know about the small plates, the strategic layouts, the unlimited math that favors the house. So go enjoy yourself. Just don't let them play you.